guys. This video has been a long time coming. With the pandemic, with returning to work, with my kids face to face, my students face to face, a lot of things just happened that honestly I got lazy and I didn't sit down. Last year has been exhausting for everyone, and I am no different. So I had every intention of recording it. Again, it just didn't happen. I had a really detailed itemized list of the things that I was going to talk about. I lost it. And I just have 3 bullet points that I just need to remember. So I had the intention of uploading a video 6 months post-surgery just to tell you guys how it went. If this is the first time that you're on this channel and it's because of the endo, maybe you can see the first video that I posted, because that one talks about right after my surgery. So to recap, I had 2 lung collapses within 4 months. There had been months prior that I was exhibiting symptoms. I just didn't know it was attached to the condition. I think the earliest that I had a medical record regarding these symptoms, I think was 2017, 2016, where I was complaining of right-sided abdominal pain, which I thought my appendix was going to burst, but now I know. And so I had surgery to fix the lung collapse. I had a pleurodesis to adhere my lung to the chest wall so it wouldn't collapse in theory again. I had a little chunk of my diaphragm removed, and obviously that area got repaired, and exploratory surgery in my thoracic region on the right side. And so 6 months after the surgery, from what I remember, I was short of breath really the entire time during recovery. And so they told me really the lung recovers on its own timeline. Every person is different. They said some people recover from the surgery in 3 months. Some people take 6 months. Some people take a year. It really just depends on a bunch of different factors. And so at 6 months, I don't think I could say I was still fully recovered. I really couldn't go upstairs. I could, but it was exhausting to go upstairs. And my students were still outrunning me. And I was getting still a lot of shortness of breath, and it would come and go, So I went to see the specialist, and she said, hey, let's just do some tests. And it turns out that a little bit of my lung has probably scar tissue. So it's not working that part. It's not a big part. It's not I have reduced lung function, but it's just not working optimally, I guess. And so that's why at that point I was still feeling really short of breath. I had muscular pain. I still have it now, but not to the same degree. So whatever they tore, there's also obviously nerves that run through your body. So whatever they tore, it hurt pretty badly up until maybe 8 months. And then I would get these shooting pains. It literally felt like a shock of electricity just running through. And that stopped at about 8 months as well. And then from the surgery, that's it. So after I had the surgery, I decided to take the medical route in terms of treatment. I know some women do natural route. They find natural medicine, or they cut certain foods out of their diet. I personally, because I had the lung collapses, I just didn't want to deal with that after having surgery to fix them. So my team and I made a plan that I wouldn't have a menstrual cycle for at least a year, so I could, recuperate completely from the surgery. And so I didn't have a full-on menstrual cycle during that time, but the medications weren't always working, so I had to be constantly switching. Either the side effects were wonky, or I was spotting and I had breakthrough bleeding, and whenever I would have the breakthrough bleeding, I would get the endo pain again. And then at about 7 months, I noticed that I was starting to have left-sided pain as well. So that led the team and I to the conclusion that even though I was on medicine, that it was still progressing. And I mean, endo is progressive, and so it's definitely not at a rate where I'm like concerned right now. Yeah, so a year later, like now, today is a year to the date that I got my surgery. And so where I am, and let's see, I am on medication still. I am set to get my first period next week. I am hopeful that it all goes smoothly according to plan. I am going to be switching to another medication, which is why I'm finally getting a menstrual cycle. This new medication, my specialist recommended. It's a newer medicine, newer birth control. So we'll see how that goes. I was really hesitant on going on birth control pills. I was on them before for years, which is probably why I never had endo symptoms when I was a teenager. And so I was hesitant going back on it. I had to go through detox of those birth control pills for like 2 years. I had severe acne. I didn't want to leave my house and things like that. Like I was about to go on Accutane. But after 2 years, it finally cleared up. And so, and I was not myself. Like my anxiety was hard to control. My moods were hard to control. And now as a grown-up, I knew that it was the birth control pills, but obviously at the time I didn't know. So I was really hesitant, but I have a great team that like works with me to make sure that the medicine that I'm taking isn't giving me crazy side effects, like nightmares, extra anxiety and stuff like that. So I'm very lucky in that regard. I still have the pain again, but nothing like it was before. So I really can't complain on that front. Honestly, I think the last year has just filled me with a lot of gratitude. My family and my friends, really my friends are my family. So my family was there for me a lot. Sorry, I'm supposed to be on my period right now. Like this would be the time that I would be on it. So I don't know if it's like, I wouldn't say phantom pain, but like whenever I'm supposed to be on my period, based on like my old cycle, I get the pain. But yeah, so I did want to add one more thing. I think in the last year, I've learned a lot about the condition more so than I thought I would, because at the time, really, from what I could find on the internet, like I pride myself in being evidence-based practice, right? And so the studies that I would find were like single subject studies, there were case studies. One had 3 participants, and I sat to myself, and I was thinking at the time, I said to myself, wow, like this is not common. And, I mean, for heaven's sakes, like the doctors at the hospital, didn't know about it. And the thoracic surgeon didn't believe, you know what I mean? Like he had to take some convincing. And so I was thinking like, they were all like, oh wow, like this is rare. Like, the hospital even had their residents sign me or have me sign paperwork so they could write a study on it and all this stuff. And so I'm sitting here thinking like, holy crap, this doesn't happen to everybody. And then the more I realize, and the more I look on Instagram, and the more I look through YouTube, this is happening to so many women. And honestly, I'm going to say this in a very calm manner, but if you know me, you know how I'm saying it in my brain. I think the largest issue, in really the disparity in all this is the fact that it is a condition that affects women. And when you present with breathing problems and all these things, and it happens to be on your period, for some reason, that automatically discredits you, right? And I went through that, albeit not to the extent that a lot of other women go through it, but I went through it. So I think that's really a big issue. And I think it's super important that we, as women, get together, women, however you identify, if you have endometriosis in your thoracic region, I think it's really great that we band together and start talking and forming communities so we can help other people who suffer from this condition and maybe don't even have the diagnosis yet. So I think it's really awesome that people commented and they were saying like, oh, like that sounds like me. And, I've been going through it with my doctors. Just keep on. If you think this is you, keep keep doing it until somebody listens. Like, somebody is bound to listen. And even now, like, the fact that you can do telehealth is even maybe better, because perhaps that'll get you in contact with, like, more doctors, depending on, like, your insurance and stuff like that. So, yeah, I really, like, a year later, I am grateful for my family. I'm grateful for modern medicine. And I'm hopeful that other women get to experience a sense of relief, especially those women that have comorbidities. And the idea of, like, I've seen a lot of women with thoracic endo who have, like, gastro problems, and both, like, they have thoracic endo and, like, pelvic endo, and I couldn't imagine that, you know what I mean? Like, my hat's off to you, like, who suffer from all those, you know what I mean? So I'm grateful for where I am, and I hope that this year and starting to get my period and stuff like that, I hope that all goes smoothly. I wish I had that itemized list. It really was in more detail, but alas, here we are. So yeah, if you guys have any comments, questions, just put them down in the comment section. And then I'm trying to start a Facebook group, because I couldn't really find anything on Facebook. I found it on Instagram, I found it on YouTube, but on Facebook, there wasn't really anything targeted like diaphragmatic endo or thoracic endo. So I'm trying to start a Facebook group. I'm going to put it also in the comments below. Just hopefully, find a group of women who could relate and, share a positive space and a non-judgmental space, so we can all move forward and live our lives with a good support group. So yeah, I hope that 2021 brings you guys everything that you didn't get in 2020 and more. I hope that you are all staying safe with COVID, especially those of us who have issues with our lungs. So I will see you guys in our next video, which I don't know when that's gonna happen. We really haven't done anything interesting. Yeah, we didn't even take videos of our wedding. Oh yeah, I'm married now. Update, I'm not engaged anymore. We got married literally 2 weeks before COVID exploded. All right, guys, I will see you next time, hopefully with Ricky. I did want to add, obviously, that this condition impacts or can impact people who have a uterus and who have ovaries, right? Who have that reproductive tract. But not all people who have that reproductive tract identify as female. So this is for any individual who has endometriosis. Your concerns are just as valid. And yeah, so this is for anyone.